Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Shadows in Survival, the new hit podcast on our lovely server that we all enjoy and love. I'm coming to you. My name is KitKat-Connorrr, or for others, my name is Jim, obviously. We have our other host.
The fox himself, the Volp in person, the German gentleman himself, aka Simon.
Beautiful. And today's special guest is our beloved friend and amazing dungeon master, Crypto.
Yo, how's it going?
All right. Well, what up, Crypto? How's it going, man?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Awesome.
How are you?
Good. Very good. Yeah, doing okay. So, for everybody that doesn't know, I don't know why you wouldn't, but who are you, Crypto? What do you do?
I don't know how to answer that question.
Well, what do you do for the server? Like what do you do? You know, who are you?
I make lore for the server. I write the story that people interact with and operate within the scope of it, I guess.
And I'm guessing that job is pretty difficult, huh?
People say lore master, but I think that's too heavy of a title. You said
No.
What do you call it? You said dungeon
No.
master.
Yeah, no, I don't
So,
think so at all.
yeah, sure.
I absolutely disagree on that, Crypto. I know you now for more than 3 years. Yeah? And what you showed me in DayZ was a whole new world for me. Everything that can be just a simple law, even if it's just a bug from the game, you create something big, something magical out of it. So Lore Master isn't good enough for that.
I
If we
couldn't agree
find
more.
something bigger than that, I will call you by that.
Yeah, I could not agree more, Crypto. The work that you do, I mean, you're behind the scenes on all of it, but if they saw your, what do you call it? The monkey box that what do you call it again?
Yeah, just the box.
Oh yeah, it's the monkey box. Yeah, so if people saw that, they would be blown away. I mean, I've been working with you for a little while now, and I mean, Jesus, dude, I don't think I could do what you do, like writing stories and stuff. But yeah, man, like being a lore master for, countless seasons, it's definitely a feat that shouldn't be undermined,
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, man. Seriously. I mean, you're the one that keeps.
More than welcome.
Yeah, you're the one who keeps the story going. I mean, what's an RP without a
no,
story?
no. I like to argue it's the players that make the story. I just kind of try to work with it.
Humble as
and
always.
see. But it's true though. Yeah, there's a little bit of that, but like I try to be reactionary to what people are doing in the game, and no matter what I could write or like try to kind of plan out in the way of like an event or a storyline that you want people to kind of follow, players are going to do what players do, and the RP that they come up with or the way that they approach a scenario or an event or even interpret something that they read or experience constantly surprises me, because there's always things that, I didn't think of that, or, oh, that's an interesting interpretation, and then just try to figure out how to use that and spin something else kind of off of it that I think people would find interesting. Yeah, I don't know how else to expand on that point,
No.
other than to say, yes, I feel the players make the story more so than anything. I just kind of establish the rules of the world, so to speak.
Of course, yeah.
Because
No.
that's kind of what you got to do.
It is. Yeah,
But
it is very true.
When you're telling a story, this is how the world works, or you approach it like a serialized television program or something. They establish the rules of the world, and then anything
But
is
without
permitted
that,
inside of that context.
without that, RP wouldn't be possible. So
Sure.
what you bring out from your mind on a piece of paper to create these rules in the world, the story behind everything, that's a fucking amazing job. And so far, each storyline that you created, I fucking loved it. It was great. From the
Thank you.
start, from the middle, to the end, it was perfect. And that's something why I play on a server like that, an international server, an English-speaking server, because for my experience on the German community, something like that wouldn't even possible, because people don't want to use their imagination. They don't want to use their brain to create something. For them, it just, if you don't do what I say, I will kill you. That's it. The character there has no meaning. The story that you create has no meaning for most of the German players. While here, on a server like SoS, it's completely different. Every character is unique, and with these unique characters, each of them, you create something wonderful each time, every time. Absolutely love it.
Well, thank you very much.
Of course, yeah.
I
Well,
guess to that I would say, like, I guess it really depends on people's level of experience with this kind of RP, because there's not a lot of, on console at least, there's not a lot of what you would call like hardcore RP. There's some more casual, kind of, I guess, softcore RP. It's a bad connotation, but it depends on your level of experience with this. A lot of people, like, if you and it's not just this, like, imagine, like, if you've done like tabletop RP or Dungeons and Dragons, sometimes you'll sit down at a table with somebody that just like fully embodies a character and never breaks character, and for somebody sitting down at that table for the first time, that can be kind of intimidating. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, of course, yeah.
people come on and maybe they're used to a certain style of RP where you can say a person's screen name, or you can say something that we would consider out of character, and it's not a big deal, or if there's kind of like gray areas of things where the lines get blurred, or there's not like a level of seriousness. I don't want to use the word dedication, because everybody dedicates themselves. I think it's very subjective, but this kind of level of seriousness that some people take. So I don't know if there's a point that I was trying to make. People aren't used to that, I guess. Like, you'll see some new players kind of get intimidated. Those are the people that I'm more interested in seeing their growth, and seeing them get it, and then inhabit a character and have a good time with it, and come on and immerse themselves in the story and get involved.
I find that beautiful. You're trying to bring the people that aren't familiar too much with it to become something, you know, greater than what they were. And that I find really just amazing to hear, to see that, you know, if there's people more dedicated to this than, you know, let's say the average Joe, you look for the average Joe and you try and make them more dedicated and, you know, see more in a topic such as like RP and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, to tie it into what do I do?
Hell of a tie-in.
That's what I do. I write lore, and I'm interested in character, in player engagement, and making sure people are getting engaged, getting involved, interacting with the story, and enjoying themselves.
Hell yeah, man. That's beautiful. Well, in the context of players, this is a very important question that we're going to be asking all of the guests from here on forward. What is the best RP moment that you have had in the whole in this whole entirety of this server? You know, what made it so memorable? Who was it with? Like all that kind of stuff.
Oh man,
If you have more than one, that's okay. There can be at least like 2 or whatever.
you're gonna make me choose. I couldn't even begin. No,
Yeah.
I couldn't. That's too tough of a question. Memorable moments, like I don't know, man. You get invested in this stuff, and
Oh, for
everything
sure.
feels. Best RP moment. Okay, I would have to say the first season, because I've told the story before, and I told the story. So I told the story before, and I think you heard this when Tina was created. I think is probably
Oh boy.
Oh,
most
Jesus,
memorable.
Tina.
The day
Oh, God.
the first season when
Oh.
we had the bunkies and
Mm-hmm.
they kill the CEO in the bunker and try to escape. That behind the scenes and NRP and that whole day, that weekend was pretty crazy. So I would say that would be it.
Oh,
When
for
Tina was
sure.
created.
Yeah, I mean,
Because she was literally created in the back of an Uber on my way home from work while everybody was freaking out,
Oh,
and we
that's
needed to
awesome.
pivot to something. And it became
Was.
something that was very memorable and continued on, and people ended up either loving her or hating her, but still kind of like wanting to interact with her. So
Yeah.
that was probably it.
Yeah, no, I've heard a lot about Tina. I wish I was around to see her. I believe Volp was around because
Yeah.
he talks about
Yeah.
her anytime her
It
name
was-
is mentioned.
Yeah. Tina is my Italian character, my Italian German character. Met her. It was a very exciting situation for me when I logged in and I was praying not to be in the fucking bunker. And what happened was I spawned in with a wrong character. So I had to kill myself to start my RP with the right character. And the first time I ended somewhere outside, I was like, yes! Not in the bunker. I'm not trapped for 2 fucking weeks. Yeah. I killed my character, I spawned new in with the right character, and I was in completely darkness, and everyone was screaming around and running around, and there was a dead body on the floor, and I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on?
Oh boy.
Jesus fucking Christ. And yeah, then there was Tina.
Oh boy.
The
And
security system of the bunker.
and from
I mean,
what I've heard, Tina was played by you, Crypto, right?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Well, text to speech.
Yeah,
but
of course. Yeah.
it worked out.
yeah, it was great. It was fucking great.
Oh boy. I
So
yeah. I haven't been around for a
really
while, but
feel
man.
that.
Yeah.
If we find Tina as an example now on Sakal, you would love her. To
Oh, boy.
interact with her, to wait for the reaction or the answer, it was great. And the connection with the spaceman, what was his name?
It's like that orbital base, right?
I forgot his name. She was our connection to the space astronaut man.
It's literally on the nose. It's Major Tom.
Major Tom, yes.
Major
Obviously,
Tom.
yeah. Major Tom. No, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. But this whole creativity behind that brings me to a personal question for you, Crypto.
Hmm.
We all start somewhere with RP, and I'm interested to hear the story how you found your way to the RP.
Ooh.
What kind of tabletop, pen and paper,
Oh,
real life
okay.
action?
New crypto lore.
Yeah, so RP. Well, I am a child. I was, I'm old, so I'm a child of the 80s and 90s. So I grew up watching, like my uncle, was really into D&D. So he would have like a bunch of his friends over, um, and they were quintessential kind of nerdy guys. He ended up being a computer uh, engineer, so I guess I kind of was aware of that uh, pretty early on as a kid. And then when I uh, was a teenager, I got into a little bit Dungeons and Dragons, and then there was a friend of mine that used to do LARP, like live action role play, and they would meet in like a little park in town. So I go to that stuff. Sounds super nerdy now when I'm telling the story out loud. But yeah, so that was my exposure to it, and then I do theater and things like that. So got into improv and used to just have a kind of D&D group. Uh, so that's kind of where it started. And then you kind of learn that role play is kind of like a long form improv. So take a lot from that. And as far as getting into RP in gaming, I played Arma, and then when the DayZ mod came out, I kind of toyed around with that for a little while, and then went over to console and played a lot of like Conan Exiles and stuff. So that was kind of my break into RP online on PlayStation, and then of course uh, DayZ standalone came out and got into RP on there. So
So
the rest is history.
you have been. Now I'm thinking about it, you've been around since like the beginning of DayZ, just in general. You've seen
Yeah,
this game go through
that's
like the
like
whole entire.
2012, 2013, I guess.
Man,
It's
dude.
been a long time. It's like, but I wasn't involved in RP like to that extent. Like we
Oh, of
played on
course.
it was just like it was a different game. Like,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I've seen some videos on it and whatnot. Like when it
but
was.
Conan, yeah, Conan, we went pretty hard because it's a persistent world, and you stay in it, and went through a couple of servers on Conan for a couple of years.
Man, dude, that's awesome.
But
So with Conan, like, how did you transition from Conan to like DayZ? Like, when did you start getting like seriously into DayZ RP? Like, did you join this server?
oh no, it was like since there was a server, a community called Red Dawn a long time ago. This is like, I'm thinking like maybe 4 years ago now. It's been a long time, 4 or 5 years. Uh, yes, that came in around the around the end days of that kind of time.
Red Dawn. I have heard about that a couple of times. I've heard
Because
some
there's
like
but there
glimpses.
wasn't like a lot of RP servers on PlayStation yet.
Okay, yeah.
But it's a whole thing, and that's like a whole episode all on its own of things you could talk about there.
Yeah,
The
for sure.
from where that came to there, and it's a lot of the community's small, so there's a lot of people that have known each other for a long time.
Of course, and I personally, As me, I find that smaller communities, as you know, there aren't as many people, but I find smaller communities tight knit, and I find it a little bit better than bigger servers with a lot of people on it. Because I don't know, if you have a bunch of quality people together, I find it better. That's why I love this server so much. Everyone here is so close knit, and they're all really quality with RP, and you know, we don't just have a bunch of numbers. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of distilled down
Yeah.
to people that like a certain seriousness.
Yeah,
Well, not.
rhythm.
I don't want to say seriousness, but just like a. They take the seriousness in the craft of it, you know, in the craft of RP. If you look at like, because it is there, it's an art. It's an art and it's a craft and it's something that you have to have a skill in and you can improve those skills, just like acting is a craft or any other kind of skill set.
Oh, for sure.
And everybody has their own play style. I think there's a place for everybody's. I like to try to write stories that cater to all the different play styles, and you know I talk a lot on the staff side of things about making sure there's a balance there. Even though we might not particularly play like a soldier play style ourselves, like it's a big part, it's a big component. Or when we're talking about like people that are more morally ambiguous or like morally like bad guys, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Morally dubious characters. People like I like banditry. I like seeing people getting. I like the tension there. Like some people don't, and that's cool. Some people don't like campfire RP. Some people do. But putting all that together and kind of shaking it up and seeing how it plays out, that's what interests me. And then just trying to find a story that people can kind of opt into and that gives no, I don't know, it's kind of hard to talk about that part.
No, 100%. No, I get it, dude. It's, you know, there's a lot to uncover with RP and, you know, how players do all of this kind of stuff and whatnot, and how they play their different characters and all that stuff. So 100%, I totally get you on that front.
Making sure there's something for everybody and making
Yes.
it so that the story that I'm trying to tell doesn't overwhelm the stories that they're trying to tell, but gives them a kind of a springboard and gives them the knowledge to operate in the world and give their character and their interactions a little bit more depth and context and background.
Of course, yeah, 100%. And I believe that I know that Volt, you know, he's been around for a little bit more than I have, and I mean some of the characters that he talks about from your seasons and whatnot, I mean they're very in detail. So he has that chance to bring that detail because of your story work. And I'm sure that there's countless other listeners probably agreeing with the same statement. I mean, with this season, you know, hell, there's a couple of people that I've talked to so far, and they're like, man, you can really, you know, involve your character into the story via books and all that stuff. So, again, a lot of praise, but seriously, it is 100% deserved.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. What was the character's name? Was pretty cool guy that you played, the dark magic voodoo guy that.
Oh yeah, Remy.
Remy, exactly, Remy. I remember pretty good on the conversation that I had with my group. Part of them was Creedy and Mocha. and they got feared. They feared you. You blacked out the whole fucking town. I was like, nah, never. That's just no. That's not possible. And we go to the car. We drove over to the fucking town, and we passed the town sign, and it was black. It was pitch black, nighttime, in the town. And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck has he done? What the fuck? So, the combination of this character, this mysterious, creepy voodoo guy, and the mechanic that you have in the what's called editor to black out the whole town, it was amazing. So your character and every interaction that you had so far was so full with love and perfection.
The credit for that really goes to Num though, because he, Num and Dougie and them doing the coding, because they figured that out, that little trick to make the area look all dark, and it was just kind of okay. How can we have the ability to do this? So how can we make that work? Was kind of my question. So there was already the kind of the character, and I knew that I wanted to have like a supernatural element in the season, because the whole point was to just kind of have fun. Because we were starting out, we wanted to kind of do something different, do something fun, and kind of teach people not to take things too seriously, you know, like and enjoy it and embrace kind of the storytelling and world and just the absurdity, because it is kind of an absurd premise being in a zombie apocalypse. I think it is kind of absurd in general, and I think that's what's kind of fun about it and attractive to that idea of zombies and the dead coming to life, and I knew I wanted to have different origins for how that may happen, and voodoo, or however you want to say it, is part of that, part of different zombie origins. So I knew I wanted to have that in the story, and then we had this other kind of thing that Num figured out they could do, and so that's kind of where Remy came from, was a way to facilitate that mechanic. We called it the Void, and some people liked it and some people really hated it.
I guess
for the people that did not like it, I'm very sorry, but I hope you were at least entertained and thought that it was something different.
Hell, I wasn't there, and that sounds amazing. I didn't know that you could even black out a town.
It was really amazing, but I still feel the people who lived in that town, because you log in, it was black, you logged out, it was black, you logged back in, it was black. It was pitch fucking black. So I understand the people that they get a little bit, I would say upset, but maybe a little bit pissed. I mean, it was their own fault at the end.
I
think it was just a vast departure from what people were used to.
Yeah, for sure.
But that was kind of the point.
Oh yeah, 100%, yeah. Well, Crypto, I wanted to ask you another special question that probably will take a little time to think about, but how has the server like impacted you? You know, like, has it done anything for you? Has it gotten you through something? I mean, like, has it really impacted you in your life, like, day to day?
Aside from my sleep schedule.
Oh no, I feel you on that one. Yeah, 100%. What? Yes, aside from your sleep schedule.
I think we all uh, carry away something when we escape into this kind of world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I know my coworkers know what I do. So sometimes we'll get to talking, and I'll be saying, people go, so what did you do last night or whatever? Oh, well, this is happening. And people, if stuff is really ramping up in RP, and I'll talk about it with some, because they're also, some of my coworkers are also gamers and stuff, and play other games adjacent to Daisy. Maybe not RP, but they understand it,
Mm-hmm.
So they'll ask, so what's going on with this? Or did these people ever catch those people? Or what happened since that person died? Or, so yeah, it does carry over a little bit, I think.
And I'm guessing that you feel kind of pride when you talk about it, with your other coworkers. If they're like, oh man, that's so cool that like this guy killed this dude, or they found this. Like, do you ever get like, a feeling of pride when you're talking about it because you're the one that made the story for most of the seasons I've heard so far?
Well, I mean, yeah, you feel pride, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, I mean, I was just thinking like in the
I mean, it's
aspect.
kind of a nerdy thing for
I mean,
most people to
yeah, I
wrap
mean,
their head around. But yeah, in that way, internally, yes, I do feel some pride. Yes.
that's the best thing that you could take away from the server.
Externally, in a very
Of course.
cringy way.
I don't find it cringy. I would say that if what you do makes you feel pride, whatever it may be, I think that if it's doing something good for a community, or just being the best you that you can be, and it gives you pride, I think that's probably the most important thing that you can take out of this crazy life that we live in.
I enjoy seeing people enjoy it. That's what makes me proud.
Yeah.
Like getting to take a little idea and then seeing people play it out. I mean, you joined on for the season and got to see how that works, right? You got that little little serotonin boost of like you built in this world, and like the starting island, and people land on there and they're interacting with the stuff you place down.
Yeah.
They're playing out the story we talked about and doing all the things that we hope they would or wouldn't do, and that's the fun for me, and I'm proud of that, getting to watch people be excited about it.
Of course,
and
yeah.
that's which, as of recording, it's kind of been a little frustrating with the outages and stuff on the network, but
Oh yeah, of course. No, I
we'll
think
see.
everyone's very done with that. 100%.
But the fact that people, when the network's up, we automatically start getting tickets, people submitting lore and wanting to interact with it and get to the story. So that is nice to see.
Oh, 100%.
So that's why we do it. That's why we do what we do.
Yeah, very true. Well, another question. Now, from the grapevine, this isn't coming from me, but is there a possibility that you could maybe give us a sneak peek on what your idea is for maybe next season?
We've only just started this season, just getting to a call.
Very true.
Do you want to talk about the next season? I don't know, man. Got a couple of ideas in the brains. You know the answer to this question.
Oh yes, I do. Yeah, I do. I do. Personally, I do. But
no, I'm excited. So someone of you need to answer this question.
No, it's just in like the brainstorming. I don't know.
Stage.
I would rather talk about Sakal.
Oh no, of course, yeah, no.
But I don't know, man. Just
we will talk about Sakal. Don't worry about that. But this question
Unless
is
there was
important
something
right
set,
now.
like, there's a couple of ideas. We just kind of deciding on uh, which one would be the best way, and I
course.
think that's really going to just depend on how this plays out.
Yeah, and I think that is
So there's
the.
nothing really to peek at.
Yeah. No, that was more than enough.
Yeah,
Actually.
no, nothing.
That was
There's
that was more than enough. That was perfect. That was exactly what I wanted from that answer. You know, build up a little hype, but with this season, with Sakal, what are your thoughts on what the players are doing so far? I mean, like, you've obviously seen like some players and what they're doing and whatnot. I mean, like, they're following the story, they're going through it. Do you see players going one way or another? Like, what are your
I think everybody's
thoughts?
kind of settling in right now. Like aside from the little pause we've had, I think everybody's getting settled in.
Of course.
Seeing more bases coming in, people. I'm liking the journals and the characters.
Oh yeah, I did forget
We'll
about
see.
the journals. Yeah.
We'll see who. Once people get established, then they'll start like going out and making moves and talking, and see where it's going.
Yeah.
And how they use the knowledge that they're learning about the stuff they're learning, how they're going to use that.
Of course. Well, now that we're speaking about characters, would you like to talk about your character that you recently have created?
No, not really.
Oh, you want to keep it a secret for everyone that finds it, huh?
Yeah.
No, 100%. That's
Perfect.
that's 100
Perfect.
valid.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That would be
Perfect.
spoilers. That
Oh,
would
of
be
course.
meta. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, of course, dude. Always gotta watch out for that meta. 100%. I was actually test crypto. You passed. Congratulations.
Wonderful. But let's stay in Sakal. I have right now two questions in my mind. So number one would be, what was the inspiration for this season? So I mean, we have the main lore behind us with Chris Native and Copa. But what now? What was the inspiration to Sakal?
Well, when I came back from my summer break and I was looking back over all the lore from Against All Odds and the things that Nam and Wyla and them had done. So looking back over all the stories that they had done, and then getting to experience the parts of Keys to Copa that I got to experience and seeing what people were interested in is kind of what inspired the platform for the story to continue on Sakal, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. So, question number two involved All Against Odds, Keys of Copa, and Sakal so far. Is there something that you really don't like how the RP over the seasons?
No, I wouldn't say there's anything that I particularly dislike.
All right.
Nah,
You hear it first.
but I didn't have enough experience with all of Against All Odds, so I kind of paid attention to things, followed along a little bit while it was going on, even though I wasn't participating in the season, and then up to Keys to Copa, and then when I came back. So there wasn't really anything that I particularly disliked about it. No, the death roll changes was kind of something that I had to get used to, but I understood the impetus behind it and the necessity of it, and getting people to learn to value life a little bit. So that's something that I felt was a continuation of how every season kind of gives a different lesson. You know what I mean? Like if the lesson of the first season that I did with Remy and Tina and all of that, the cult and paranormal stuff, that lesson was kind of like, don't take things too seriously. You know, it's a game. You're supposed to have fun and role play and play pretend with friends. Because that's really what we're doing. We're playing pretend with friends. And it's supposed to be a fun game. So that lesson, I think people kind of learned and then understood a little bit of what we were going for. And then I think the lesson with Against All Odds is kind of more like learn to work together and have patience and kind of start to value your life more, like in the experiences of your character more. You know, it's brutal and you got to work together, and it's being introduced in small groups, so people are automatically having these little bonds. I really love the idea of establishing a certain dynamic right from the jump, where like the first season had the people that were the bunkies that were inside the bunker and the people that were outside the bunker, so automatically from the jump there's a dynamic there. And Against All Odds built on that by having each contained little piece of it be establishing a certain dynamic. And now we have Sakal, where everybody starts in the same place and they're all equally refugees, so there's a dynamic there that's already established, and there's a bit of story that carries over from the end of Copa that establishes a dynamic. So what the lesson is here, I don't know, maybe we'll see.
Cryptic as always.
I think people are already learning to value their life because it's pretty brutal out there.
Yeah, that brings me
Freeze
to...
in the ice. or get munched on by a horde. Who knows? The
Who
call doesn't mess
knows?
around.
No, 100%.
There's so many dangerous things out there in the ice. Winter Wonderland, Sakal.
I mean, to match it, I was on like a walk during RP, and I mean, I got attacked by like 3 wolf packs in the span of maybe
Jesus.
15 minutes of just
What
I'd walk 5, and then wolf pack, 5 wolf pack, 5 wolf pack. Oh my, man, like yeah, it's not for the faint of heart out there, 100%. 100%.
It'll get better.
Oh yeah, no, of course, yeah.
They'll get through it. They'll survive.
100%. I mean, that's the name of the game, to survive.
Get to hunting.
Yeah, exactly.
Killing.
But you mentioned something that's
The wild.
it's for me a point that I watched very carefully the last season from AAO over to Keys to Copa, and that's the activity. So with the death rule, yeah, if you died legit, you have the chance to be still part of the RP by creating a smart infected, or we call them stalker, and it's so sad to see that not everyone taking these kind of chance to be still part of the server, of the ongoing RP. If they die, yeah, it's a shame and it hurts. Yeah, behind every character is a huge story that someone creates with heart and very, very lovely emotions. And I get to this point. Yeah, if you die, you're pissed, but to stay away from the server is not the correct way or the best way. Change my mind on that. But over the seasons, everyone who dies, they disappear, and that's a shame.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard for people to re-roll. Especially like early on, it's not so bad. People don't get as attached, but as things go, and it's natural, I think, for people to kind of go, well, that's it. It's unfortunate. I wish that people did take a little. I wish that people did seize the opportunity more often to do something outside of their comfort zone, or some people have that ability. They can take a character and they can die and they can wait it out. They can reroll. But I understand why people would want to do that. I would just say take it as an opportunity to learn and grow and be better, stronger, faster each time you roll into a new character.
Wow.
It's
So,
an
ladies and
opportunity
gentlemen,
for
take this as an
a new
advice.
life,
Yeah.
a new
100%.
experience. That said, I would like to see more people playing Stalkers. It's kind of nice
Ooh.
to have that, or Cannibals for that matter.
Ooh, cannibals. I do find that a little difficult. I will say that my concerns with cannibals is that the infamous Kuru disease. When you eat someone and you get Kuru, I know that you won't die when you cook it, but how would you become a cannibal without dying? Because don't you eventually just die still?
Well, I mean, you are playing in the context of a zombie apocalypse.
Very
I don't
true.
think the deep scientific questions of the reality of the situation matter that much. I guess in real life you do. Presumably so.
Okay.
In the game, I guess that just depends.
Yeah. Yeah.
The cannibal question is more of a question of how it is whether the player population can support it. You know,
Okay.
maybe if we grow bigger and we have or more people, we get more active people, getting people interested and getting people on. You know, and we don't have any network disruptions like we've had.
Oh boy. Yeah.
But you know, I think that's out of our hands. It's all
Mhm.
in the hands of the game devs and everything.
Of course.
And Sony, great Sony overlords.
Well, Crypto, personally, I don't have any questions left to ask. Volp, do you have any?
Let me think. Well, yeah, there's a question still in my mind. New people. What would be your advice for the rest of the staff team, also for the community, to bring in new people or get new people interested in our server, and how we can make them to stay with us?
I think just creating more content for people. Like the more people stream, the more people share clips of stuff. Naturally, it's gonna drive up engagement. People will be curious. It's very tight knit and very niche. The console RP community in general, and even with it being a small community, there's still a lot of competition sometimes out there that you're trying to all kind of attract the same people. So we've talked a little bit on the staff side about trying to get more people to stream and do things like this. This podcast is a good idea. So I encourage more people to create content on the server or share things from the server and share it with your friends that play other games or have interest in DayZ in general. It's that's the best advice, I guess I could say.
Yeah. No,
I'm not a social media guy, so I just sit in my box
and crank out your lore work, huh?
Crank out my lore, yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Well,
So guys, you hear it? Now put out your phone, post a fucking Discord link to SOS in all fucking social media platforms, even print it out, put it on the White House to Donald Trump. Whatever. Make some advice for us here. And yeah, it was a very interesting and very lovely first podcast.
yeah, thank you, Crypto, for all of your hard work and for being our first guest on this podcast show. We really appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Thanks for listening to me ramble.
Hell, it's our pleasure. Come on now, you know me. I've known you for a little while. I can take your rambles, 100%.
All right.
Yeah, with that, we appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, and for anyone out there that's listening, if you'd like to join our server, you know, the link will be underneath this video. And I guess best thing that we could say is just keep surviving, don't die, because there's a lot more in store for you. So with that,
Bye-bye. Don't die.
Goodbye.
Don't die in the cold, cold east.